really reasonably priced and specific for karate sparring. In this video, I'm going to be talking all about the karate gloves we have for sale at Enso Martial Arts. I'm going to be talking about all of their features, why you'd want to use these over other gloves out there on the market, and at the end, I'm going to put together a short montage of people sparring in karate. Hi, my name's Doug Swift. I've been doing martial arts for the past 36 years and I've been the owner of Enso Martial Arts for the past 18 years. If you like this video, click the little icon down below, subscribe to this channel and get all the latest videos on all of the products we have here for sale at Enso Martial Arts. So let's get into this video and learn all about the karate gloves we have for sale at Enso. Now, the purist would say that karate sparring, you shouldn't wear anything at all, just bare hands, bare feet, absolutely nothing, no padding whatsoever, and you should just get stuck in there and do it the old school way and blah 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 blah. And that's all very well and good, although you don't see a lot of the actual bare-handed sparring hitting to the head very much, partly because it's really damaging for your hands, and you know, you can't do it that much because people just get damaged way too much, so you can't actually really get involved and sort of hone your sparring craft. So, you know, over the years a little bit of sense maybe came into play and people started getting pads for their hands and feet. Now, there are still styles like the Kyokushin guys that don't use any pads on their hands whatsoever, but like I said, they don't hit to the head, just to the body. You know, and then sort of there's arguments for and against that. It limits them in certain ways because you don't get used to doing headshots. You know, you just get used to standing there whacking each other. You don't learn to protect your head, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, saying that, you Kyokushin guys are pretty tough, so I wouldn't want to fight you at all. Now, when I first opened the shop, these types of gloves with relatively thick padding still weren't that popular in karate. You didn't see them that often. They were slowly coming into some of the comps, and to be honest, most people used like the little elasticated sparring gloves. We do the elasticated shin-in steps that are still popular, but these have definitely dropped in popularity over the last kind of 20 years or so. A lot less people are using these compared to these. These have come in and been much more popular. Now, like I said, having that extra bit of padding on your hand is definitely good. It means you can spar more. More people want to get involved in sparring. More people want to get involved in competitions, which is really good for the sport overall. It means a lot more people are going to keep up karate and keep training. A lot more people getting involved in the comps, all the rest of it. So it's not just for the really hardened, like super traditional guys that just want to get stuck in there and do bare knuckle fighting. You know, it's much more open and available to everyone, and it also means people can spar more, get better at sparring, and improve the skill, like the skill pool, as it were, of people in karate, which for me, you know, I love martial arts, and the more and more people that do martial arts, the better. So something like introducing a bit more padding on the hands, for me, is better for everybody. This style of glove you could call the WKF Style karate mitt, the World Karate Federation. There's also the Wateroo Karate Federation, and I think they use these as well, but really it means the World Karate Federation. Now, these aren't approved by the WKF. We're also looking to be getting these in the future. We're hoping to get Taekwondo shin-in insteps and gloves in the future, so watch this space. I'll definitely do a video on them when we get them in. So these are unapproved but in the style of, so throughout sort of other comps that don't need the approval or just training in your class, these are absolutely perfect, very well made and fit in that style. Now, the karate style didn't decide to go for like full boxing gloves. They still wanted that really sort of small hand, similar to the size of your fist. In fact, when you fit them, you want the glove to be pretty much the width of your fist, no bigger. So it's similar to fighting sort of with an empty hand, like uncovered hand, but with just added bit of protection. They also don't give you any wrist support whatsoever, so you do need to learn to punch straight and all the rest of it. So all those kind of karate values of hitting bare knuckle, if you're doing any Makiwara training, you really need to sort of get your hand in a perfect position. This allows you to do that and doesn't sort of rely on having support in from any sort of equipment, anything like that. Now, the other thing it does have as a feature is it has this little thumb thing on them. Now, not all the karate gloves in the past have had a thumb sort of attachment on them. In the old days, they used to just have this bit without the thumb, and they've pretty much disappeared now. You don't see them anywhere. Nearly all the gloves nowadays have that thumb attachment. Now, it won't, so like boxing gloves, there's a little bit that goes between them. This doesn't have that, so you can still grab if you wanted to, if you're doing any wrist grabs or blocks or anything like that. But so it does mean your thumb can be exposed to getting hit and knocked. Again, that really means you've got to get that thumb in tight when you're punching and keep it out of the way. So, you know, there's pros and cons of everything, but for karate, specifically looking at karate training, these gloves are designed perfectly for what you need to do within karate. So like I said, lots of wrist movement in there, your thumb's out and exposed, pretty much your whole palm's exposed. So if you did need to grab or anything like that, or if you're doing any like not that you necessarily do it in sparring, but if there's any knife hand like chops or anything like that, you can still open your hand to do that. But like I said, in sparring, maybe just try and hit them with the pad. You know, you're not going to make it a lot of friends if you're hitting sort of palm strikes or anything like that. You can see on these, it's quite a big pad. It looks on the camera here, it looks absolutely massive, but yeah, that's plenty of padding for your hand, but still nowhere near as much padding as you'd get, say, on a standard boxing glove. Again, the karate guys, I guess, didn't want to go too far into padding the whole hand. It wants to be sort of still fairly hard. I'd class this sort of around maybe like a 6 or 8 ounce glove in terms of padding, if that means anything to you. Now, there's also quite a lot of padding on the back of the hand, so if you're doing back fists or anything like that, you can still do that and not completely clock the person for 6. But like I said, because their padding's fairly limited, it's still going to hurt a fair bit. Now, these gloves are made out of what we call PU, which is like a polyurethane or something like that. It's pretty common. It's basically vinyl. You do get it on some boxing gloves, you get it on a lot of sparring equipment. All the top 10 stuff that you get is all made out of the same material. It's nowhere near as durable as leather, but it's perfect for what you need in karate. It makes it much cheaper, which is really good, keeping the price down. Much easier to work than leather, sort of from beginning to end, so it's much cheaper, and it's pretty durable. Now, it's very unlikely that you're going to completely destroy a pair of gloves like these. Maybe if you're sparring all the time, going full on at it, you know, they might fall apart, but they're going to be pretty durable. They should last you a long time. Now, if you decided to do like pads, bag work, focus pads, things like that, and so they're getting a lot more impact and punishment, they probably won't stand up to that. I would probably recommend, if you're going to do a lot of pads and bag work, maybe getting a pair of boxing gloves, something a bit more durable that's designed for that type of thing. These definitely are a sparring glove only, really, although you could do a bit here and there, but really it's better just to keep these for sparring, and then they're going to last absolutely ages. You probably saw from the thumbnail that we do these in 3 different colours: red, white and blue. Now, traditionally, white would be for training in your club. Everyone will wear a white glove, same as the gis. You know, it looks very uniform, very neat, which is exactly what you want in karate. And the red and blue would be for each corner when you're sparring. So a lot of people will get all 3 eventually. They kind of start off with white, and when they go to the comps, they maybe get the red and blue. If you don't want to use any other gloves, I know a lot of people, they might buy 1 each, and then when they go to comps, they're like switch gloves and stuff, but that can get pretty manky and disgusting, putting hands in other people's sweaty gloves. So over time, people probably will end up with a pair of everything if you're competing a lot. If you're not competing at all and you don't want to go to comps and you just want to train in the club, just stick with the white. These come in small, medium and large. Now, the manufacturer for these says that small is child size. They actually call it like a child small. So all kids are stuck with the small. Now, we do get the really little kids that want to do a little bit of sparring, and the gloves are massive on them. There isn't an extra small, which is a bit of a shame, really. Now for those kids, you could look at the elasticated ones. The small elasticated mitts are tiny, so that might be a better option for them if these are just way too big. But to be honest, for the little kids, having a bigger glove on them isn't really a problem. The less they get hurt when training, the more they're going to be enthusiastic about it. If they're getting bashed about a bit, it's really common for kids to just drop out. They just don't like it. So small for kids, and then medium and large for adults. So if you think you've got relatively sort of small average size hands for an adult, go for the medium. Everybody else get the large. I'm 5'9", and I reckon I've got sort of average hands. I could probably fit in both. I go both ways. Of course, in karate you want the smallest glove possible, so of course I go for a medium. But you know, any bigger than that, sort of around sort of 5'11", 6 foot, you probably want to go for a large. That's my guess. Most women, unless if you know you've got enormous hands, I'd stick with the medium. So at Enso Martial Arts, we do like to think we've got a pretty good selection here of martial art products for all different martial arts across the world. And we like to think that our karate selection is pretty good. Now, being an empty hand system, there's not a lot of kit, but we still like to think we're doing pretty good. So, as well as the karate gloves, we also have a whole range of elasticated padding. I've done a whole video on these, so definitely check that out. I'll try and put a note up in the top box somewhere here. But we've got gloves, forearms, groin guards, shins, shin and insteps, knees, elbows, so a whole load of stuff to protect yourself fully in martial arts training. There are definitely two items that people are always resistant to get. I don't know why, but like elasticated groin guards, definitely important, but also gum shields, really, really important. Get yourself a gum shield. It will save you a whole load of money if you get your teeth knocked out. We've got loads of different karate gis specifically for karate, from the kind of low budget lightweights all the way through to different Japanese cut, European cuts, and we do 3-4 different types of Tokaido uniform, one of the best gis in the world. And for those that want to branch out slightly away from the norm and do a bit of Kabuto training, we do have like staffs, kama, sai, tonfa, all the kind of stuff you'd expect to see in traditional Japanese weapons training. So as promised at the beginning of the video, here is a short montage of people training, sparring and competing wearing the karate gloves. Thanks very much for watching. I hope it was useful. I hope you learned loads about the karate gloves we have for sale at Enso Martial Arts. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, click the little icon down below, subscribe to this channel and get all the latest videos on all of the products we have here for sale at Enso Martial Arts. Thanks very much, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.